Chapter 14. Whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth. We have been asked this question: why are all who long to serve the great cause of humanity so oppressed by lack and limitation of one kind or another? The title to this paper will give a hint to our answer, and while it may be quite satisfying to some, yet until it is fully realized and its application to one's individual case is clearly understood, it is but a sorry fact if it can be proved to be a fact. This we hope to prove to you, and we first would remind you that we have shown in previous articles how all earnest aspirants, especially all true disciples, seek to be cleansed of all qualities of self and separateness that prevent the unhindered use of the personality by the higher self, and that they actually ask and invite such cleansing. At least in their hearts they do, if not in definite prayers, so that they may become perfect instruments for his use. Remember, this must be so with true disciples of Christ, for he must give up all of self if we would follow him, and that means we must give up all of those things that hold us to this world, the flesh and the devil, for self is the only devil, and self is wholly of the flesh and of the world. Now try to realize that to have reached a stage of spiritual growth where we gladly do this, we must know that we have had little to do with such growth. It was something within us that was growing, and in order to grow, some of the old confining and conflicting qualities of soul and the thoughts and ideas they engendered had to be loosened from our consciousness and be left behind. That such was part of the cleansing process. And if such loosing and freeing hurt, which is natural, we should be glad and should at once seek to learn why it hurt, and the quality of self that was being hurt and was refusing to let go and was thus holding us back from the goal that awaits. Keep in mind the unconscious growth within taking place. We can then see if health departed or financial reverses came or some loved one was taken away, or one of the cherished desires of our hearts was suddenly removed, that it was necessary to bring such about first in order to awaken the soul, and that when that was accomplished the mind's attention could be turned to the Lord within, the giver of all good things. But some may say, why should any of these things be taken away in order to turn us to God? We will let you yourself answer that question. Why did you not turn to him before, really turn to him? When you had health and money and loved ones and the desires of your heart, where and when did God come into your thoughts? Was he not then but a vague term, an abstract ideal, who intelligently stood as the fountain of all religious thought, but who actually had no real existence in your life? Yes, you accepted him as the author of your being, and that he was responsible for all things in your life, but did you really know him? Well, the time had come when he, within you, could prepare your human mind so that it could become conscious of him, could learn to know him as he is, and could eventually cooperate with him by first letting him use you and all that you are and have, and then giving you those qualities of mind and soul, and later those things in the outer which he can use, not for your good alone, but for the purpose he intended from the beginning, for the good of all. All must come to that consciousness, and if you have been brought to that place where he has accepted you at your word, has begun the cleansing process, and has taken some things away that meant very much to you, it is a sure sign that he has called you, has chosen you, and is not only trying to gain your mind and heart's attention, but is verily drawing you to him. The Standard Dictionary defines chasten as to discipline by pain or trial, to make chaste, to refine, purify. Now none of the above means much unless you fully realize that the Lord is yourself, your divine self, that one within who has been growing you, who has been putting you through all the experiences of life, in order to teach, discipline, chasten, refine, and purify your human and supposed separate mind, so that it knows its identity with you and your mind. It is no outside God doing this, no great being somewhere apart from you, but is the real you abiding within the soul, and from there directing all, inspiring every needed helpful thought, and permitting other kinds only for the mind's disciplining and its learning from the mistakes they cause you to make. Until you have taught it thus to turn within to the Lord, the self within, and to look to him only there for everything, to wait upon his every will and word, God is not real to you and has no actual part in your conscious life. The impersonal life has taught you all this, and you have not already proved it. It is time that you begin to know that the I am of you is your Lord, that he is yourself, your only self. Many of you have earnestly studied the helps provided in the preceding articles and have faithfully striven to grasp the realization intended, but cannot quite close the gap between your human and divine centers of consciousness. Some, however, have been able to draw their minds back into conscious oneness, where they recognize I am as their self, and their human minds as but instruments or channels formed for use in outer work on planes of consciousness outside the kingdom. We will try to give herewith a few additional help for those who feel and need only a little more light to enable them to close the gap. Some practical work. First, read again carefully the article Practical Work in the 7th chapter. From it you will note the importance of learning to talk to yourself. For in such talking you soon find that something greater than your human self is talking, and that it is the mind that does the listening and thinking and understanding of what it hears. Practice will gradually bring the conviction that a higher or greater you is thus talking, for things will be said that your mind did not before know, and that will give you encouragement to continue until your mind recognizes that words of wisdom are being spoken. Truth, very much worth knowing and putting into practice in your life. At such times it would be well to have a notebook handy to write it in such truth so that it may not be forgotten, and can be available for study or giving out to help others. Now when you thus talk to your human self, and it learns that it is but the listener and the pupil, you can realize how you, as the higher self, are the real teacher and master, and that your human mind is a disciple. Also you can grasp, as you more and more prove it by your reasoning mind, that you are a divine being, are actually the Lord God, who is the chastener and the discipliner. For remember that it is God who alone is. The human mind only thinks it is, that it is separate from you and from God. Then how could that be when He is all that is, and that in the consciousness of His mind all live, move, and have their being? Human minds are only centers of His consciousness, are ideas in His mind, just as your thoughts and ideas are centers of your consciousness. Cease reading now and think on all of the above until it becomes clear. Then when you have grasped it, try definitely to realize yourself as that which is the innermost inner of your being, that it is your life, intelligence, and will which is expressing yourself outwardly in and through your human consciousness as a personality, an instrument created solely to enable you to accomplish that which you came into human manifestation to do. When you clearly realize this, then say to your human mind, and try to mean it, and know it as you speak what follows. Be still, my child, and come back and hear where I am. Withdraw all attention from and interest in outer things, and fix them upon me, deep within the soul. Let go of your sense of self and separateness. Think of yourself as a spiritual being, and enter fully into my consciousness, I who am all spirit. Know that you have no consciousness that is apart from my consciousness. Therefore you cannot be separate from me, only as you mistakenly think so. For as you think, so does it seem to you to be, when you are without in the consciousness of such mistaken thoughts. Therefore, come back into your soul consciousness and abide here with me. For your soul body is very beautiful, is perfect in every way, strong, healthy, harmonious, pure, radiant, glorious. For it is your real body, in which you really live and where you always are at night when sleep frees you from your physical body consciousness. It is so because I am here, because I created it as my habitation in the beginning, and because I dwell in it as yourself, and therefore you, when there, are one with me, and consequently are perfect now, even as I am perfect. And back and here in my consciousness you can see and know yourself in the perfection of my image and likeness, even as I see and know you, can see clearly that you are not separate, could not possibly be separate or different from me, yourself, your one and only self. Think, I am trying to prove to you your actual and eternal nature, that your real body is perfect, that you can never really be sick because of its perfect purity, that in your soul home, which is your true home, all good things are yours, that there is no lack or limitation of any kind there, for in the kingdom of my consciousness, which contains only all good and perfect ideas, less than perfect ideas or conditions do not and could not exist. Can you not see that it is only because you think yourself different from your true self that you seem different? Remember what was stated in the last chapter. What you think and hold in consciousness as being so, outmanifests itself in your body and circumstance. Then your body and circumstance are now only the outmanifestation of your wrong and ignorant thoughts, and they have no real existence. Can you not see that? and that if you will but cleanse your mind of all those wrong and untrue thoughts and know yourself as you are, in your soul state, in your kingdom consciousness, you will actually be and see yourself as I have shown you are there. Ponder this for a while until you get it. It will mean everything if you persist and do get it. Now listen carefully, having grasped the great but simple truth of what has been stated, then to you nothing without in the realm of manifestation is true, or of any real importance, for the only reality is within in your soul state where I am. Then you, in your human self, are nothing at all, for I, your perfect self, alone am. You are only a human mind, an idea or center of my consciousness that I created for my use in the realm of matter, which itself is but a composite idea in consciousness, in order that I myself might dwell and function in that outer realm when I had prepared and fitted you as a perfect avenue for such functioning. You are nothing, can do nothing, and can do nothing only as I do it through you. Then why should anything really matter to you, you may well ask? Can you not see that it does not, cannot possibly matter if you are nothing, and I alone am? Then, beloved, why not let go and turn over all to me? Let go of everything and put all responsibility onto me. You can do it if you really try. Just think what it means not to care any longer, that you need not fear or worry or be concerned any more about anything, for I will take care of all. No matter what is the problem confronting you, just turn it over to me. You do not know what a wonderful blessing awaits you when you are able thus to let go and to trust everything to me. For I will take care of all, even as I am doing anyway, and I will handle everything far better than you possibly could. Yes, when you have learned to trust all to me in a positive, living, powerful trust, I will arrange everything, for when you actually let go and get out of the way, I can bring forth into manifestation the good I intended from the beginning for you, in order to accomplish my purpose with you. And when your mind thus becomes empty of self-will and of all self-ideas and purpose, I can then put into your mind my ideas and my will for you. Then I can tell you what to do, and your mind, no longer cluttered with fears, worries, and concerns of self, can hear my voice, and can know it as mine, and you will be glad to obey. Then I need chasten and discipline you no longer, for your mind has become cleansed and emptied of all ideas of self, and I can take possession, and I can use it for the purpose I had prepared and fitted it to be used. Yes, you then need do nothing but wait upon me, and need not be concerned about anything. For you will do perfectly what I tell you to do, because then I actually will be you, and I will be doing it. And I will take care of all, and I will be wholly responsible for all, and you will know that you and I are one, and that I am God. Groups. In the first chapter and also in the later ones, we mentioned group work. And while then we did not definitely urge the formation of groups, we feel by this time that many are able to understand the significance of disciples of Christ meeting together in His name, and that they should be able to receive from Him definite guidance, or at least definite assurance of His presence, should 2 or 3 earnest souls come together for the express purpose of fitting themselves for His service. As stated in the article in the 9th chapter, which we earnestly request all to reread and study, such groups will be brought together by the Master when He finds those truly consecrated and desiring above all things to serve Him. Our part has been to help quicken and inspire in aspirants first the spirit and meaning of service, and then the desire to do all possible to fit themselves as instruments for His use. We have helped by providing exercise and instructions for training and disciplining the mind and emotions, and have stressed time and again the vital importance of faithfully mastering the exercises until the mind and all its faculties have become perfect servants of the will. We have also done all possible to make each aspirant acquainted with the loving one within, who is the inner assurance of Him whom they look to outwardly, as it were, as their divine master and leader. Therefore, those who have failed to follow the suggestions given, because of its being too much trouble, of not wanting to take the time necessary, or having too many social or personal things that they let interfere, of being too mentally lazy to make the necessary effort, or of thinking such requirements unnecessary, will now have no one to blame but themselves when they find others have arrived at the entrance to the kingdom, with their soul and mental faculties unfolded and well trained for service, proven by what such receive while meditating, while others consecrated souls in group meetings. An earnest study of the teaching and a faithful striving to follow and put into practice their truth in every case has resulted in an expansion of consciousness and a consequent unfoldment of soul faculties. But not all souls unfold alike, which is natural and is better for the development of a strong and efficient group consciousness. For such a consciousness should be composed of different types of minds in order to be well rounded out, just as a well-rounded out intelligence should have every faculty fully developed by study and training along various lines of many different subjects. Group consciousness is the next step to be attained by disciples, and it can be attained only by actual experience in the group, where it can best be learned in association with other consecrated souls how to master and deal with personality, and later how to utilize its force in the master cause. And all this under his direct guidance. Remember, for where two or more are gathered together in his name, he is actually in the midst of them, expressly to give such guidance and teaching. Many in groups have had definite evidence of this, and happy are they to learn that others are meeting with experience similar to their own. Many letters have been received, telling of their great joy at actually seeing and being blessed by the Master Jesus with a personal message for them, and which had a profound effect upon their lives. This and many other significant things have been told us, indicating that the Master is now calling out his chosen ones in ever-increasing numbers, and is getting them ready for what awaits. Because of this, we shall continue to stress the great importance of all forming into groups wherever it can be arranged. And we know it can be arranged in most cases where the true spirit of service is present in the heart. For when the heart wills, a way will be found, because the Master rules in and works from the heart, and his will is the only will of a sincere disciple. In a later chapter, we shall tell about the possibilities of group work and will give definite suggestions for such work, including group healing, helping in personal, financial, and other problems, also in community, national, and international affairs. We will give the law and how to apply it under the direction of the Master within. End of chapter.